Flying standby on the week of a holiday. Am I gonna make it? Well, stick around to find out.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm flying home, and you're coming along.
Here's the plan. We'll depart Phoenix bound for Houston, where we'll be for an unknown amount of time before hopping on a flight to Tulsa.
Alright, so today we're flying standby, and if you don't really know what that basically means I'm only going to get on the plane if there's an open seat available. So today we're first going to fly to Houston. There should be plenty of open seats on that flight, and then we're hoping to fly to Tulsa. That flight that I listed myself for, plus the 2 flights after that, are looking pretty much full right now. So we may end up having a longer connection in Houston, but that's just kind of part of the game when it comes to standby travel.
And after a quick ride on the famous Phoenix SkyTrain, it was time to head into Terminal 3 and get this day started.
Alright, so we just cleared security. But it took about 10 minutes, which is honestly the longest it's probably taken me at this airport in my years of traveling through here. Now you might be asking yourself, how do you list yourself for standby? Usually for standby travel, you have to be affiliated with the airline in some way. Usually you're an airline employee or you're a family of an employee. Personally, I'm a part of the United Aviate program, which is a pathway program for pilots who are looking to fly for United one day. And one of the perks of that program is standby benefits, which is what we're doing today. If you want to check out their website, if you're thinking about joining the program, I'll drop a link to it down in the description below. Feel free to check it out and send in that application if you really want to.
We then arrived at the gate, but not before filling up my water bottle.
Alright, we're down here at the gate now, and I really wish I was flying this A330 behind me, but unfortunately I'm not. In fact, I just got confirmed for the flight to Houston. We got seat 10A in Economy Plus. Boarding's going to start here in just a couple minutes, so we're going to get on board and get this adventure started and hope that this day doesn't turn into a really long one. Alright, next stop, Houston. Alright, so we've made it on board. The seat is super comfortable, but I also want to point out that this has to be one of the most beautiful sunrises I think I've ever seen on a plane. And the United plane in the foreground also makes a pretty nice touch. But we're going to get underway to Houston, and I'll provide you guys a little bit of an update once we get in the air.
I totally was not about to complain about an empty row in Economy Plus, but soon enough we pushed back from the gate, and after a quick taxi, we were off. Next stop, Houston. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my headphones to connect to the IFE, but not to worry, because service began 27 minutes after departure with snacks and drinks.
Alright, so we're about a quarter of the way into the flight now, and it's been incredibly smooth so far. They just brought around snacks and drinks, and still looking pretty tight for the later flights, so we're going to see what happens. I'm trying to hold out some hope for the first flight, but it's really not looking too good, so it might end up being a pretty long day at the airport. But, there's really nothing we can do about it now. This is kind of what I signed up for, so we're just going to see what happens. But until then, we're going to make our way down to Houston. I might actually catch a small nap because I was up pretty early this morning.
And after an incredibly smooth flight, we were touching down in America's second largest state, which was then followed by a pretty long taxi over to the gate.
Alright, that's flight 1 of the day complete. Now we're in Houston, and the next 3 flights, including the one I listed myself for, are unfortunately looking pretty much full. So this might be the start of a 10-hour connection, but I'm really hoping it's not. I'm going to do my best to get out of here as quickly as I can. But we're going to see what happens. Like I said before, and I'll keep saying, this is part of standby travel. This is kind of what I signed up for. But we're going to see what happens and just kind of see what the day throws at us. But for now, we're going to get on over to the next gate. I got to figure out where the heck that is. And then we'll see what happens.
After a quick terminal change from Terminal C to Terminal B, we made it to our next gate, but unfortunately, we were delayed by a couple of hours.
All Alrighty, well, unfortunately, our flight is delayed. First, it was delayed by like 30 minutes, then it was an hour, and now it's 2.5 hours. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure exactly what this means for me getting home today. In fact, that was actually our plane behind us. It's sitting right there. But we're going to see what happens. I'm going to sit here as long as it takes to get on one of these flights, and then we'll kind of go from there. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get some work done on editing this video that you're currently watching. So we'll wait around here and see what happens, I guess.
I decided to get some editing done, and about 2 hours later, we were heading down to the boarding area, but I didn't get the news I was hoping for.
Alright, well, huge bummer. We didn't get on the flight that we originally listed for. Thankfully for us, there is another flight that leaves here in like 30 minutes. It may have already started boarding, but we're going to go see if we can't catch that one and get out of here. But we'll see what happens.
Soon after, we were heading down to the boarding area for the next flight. I wasn't sure if I'd make this flight either, but then that all fortunately changed.
All right, we made it. We are going home, finally. Didn't want to sit in Houston any longer.
The seat was a bit cramped on this little ERJ, but I wasn't complaining. We pushed back a bit late due to some maintenance, and then once again we were off, this time with the stress behind me. Service began 31 minutes after takeoff, and then after a quick power nap, we were touching down in my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We then pulled into the gate, oddly enough, right next to the flight that I had previously missed out of Houston.
All right, flight 2 of the day, check. Welcome to Tulsa. That's definitely a longer day. I'm tired. I'm starting to lose my train of thought here. But I hope that gave you a kind of a glimpse of what standby travel kind of looks like. Yeah, that was actually my first time flying standby. So one thing I did learn is that it's not for the faint of heart. It's definitely stressful. I was definitely stressed out the last couple of days, and I'm now very, very tired. So that's gonna wrap it up here. But before I go, I got one quick message for you. No matter where the skies take you, wish for those tailwinds, wish for those blue skies, and I'll see you guys next time.